Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Night Owl, a show that we do twice a week where we talk about all the latest in pop culture and gaming news, TV and movie reviews. I'm Price of Reason, and as usual, with me here is my co host, Professor R2. How's it going, Professor?
Going well. Still fighting off this cold, but at least I feel like I'm starting to finally recover
You
from it.
sound better.
So,
You're turning that
yeah,
corner.
yeah, I think, just that last little gasp of this cold. Hopefully I'll be able to shake it off over the weekend. So, yeah,
I have
doing all
faith in
right. How
you.
you been, Price?
I've been okay. It's been a long day, but I look forward to these evenings where we sit and we talk about all this interesting stuff that's going on these days. And certainly, there's a lot going on.
Oh my,
I
is there
guess
ever?
I think that in terms of just entertainment, there was a relatively quiet day.
Yeah.
Although even as we sit here, I saw a few things being shared with us that were interesting that nobody's actually talked about. So we'll definitely have some interesting things to talk about entertainment wise. But as we get closer to this election, I think that there's a lot of stuff going on that's interesting in terms of media coverage, in terms of how each candidate is sort of working the media. These are
Yep.
things that are of interest to us. I've said before, we're not overly political people, but I think that these days there is a lot to talk about when it comes to this election, how it's covered, different strategies using the media that the candidates have. And I think that does tie to the type of pop culture news that we do discuss.
Yeah.
So sometimes these things do intersect with what we do cover here.
Indeed. Yep.
And, I would say that if I had to give my 2 cents here, I feel like over the past, especially week or two, there seems to have been sort of a shift in Kamala Harris's strategy.
Oh yes, I would
And
agree.
and the funny thing is that we've been talking about this. I think that somebody told her maybe that she's losing with men, that there's certain demographics that she's not really connecting with. And her response was the way that they tried to respond to it is they did that Fox News interview, but that kind of backfired. If she was trying to get a certain demographic there, I think that the opposite happened. It probably would have been better for her if she hadn't done that interview, if you ask me.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree.
I
It might have been better if she didn't do that CNN town hall either.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few things there that I think she thought would be great for her, and they didn't work out. And the other thing is, you had that was it Al Smith? What's that thing called with the press?
Yeah, it was it with I believe it's
I
what's the
called it
Al
Al Smith. It's probably wrong. I don't know what it is,
No, it's
but
the Al Smith dinner. I'm trying
oh
to remember
wow, that's it.
exactly
I can go
who
home now.
puts it on. It's put on by a number of Catholic charities. It's a big fundraiser
You
that's
know
done
what?
by
The
some
fact that I
Catholic
said Al
charities
Smith and it
in New
was
York
Al
City.
Smith,
Yeah.
I think I did my part here.
That's a
But
win for Price. He's gonna
it's
chalk
a
that one
win.
up in the W's for
You were
him. Yeah.
impressed. You have to admit, you didn't think I would get it right. I said Al Smith; it was the right name. But what I'm saying is that that was a moment that Trump just went there and he really delivered. He delivered such funny jokes that Chuck Schumer, who he was making fun of,
Oh,
was
he
sitting there
was
laughing,
yeah, he was tearing him a new one. And they were all having a a good laugh.
having a
It
good
was pretty
laugh.
funny. And then
Chuck
that
Schumer was legitimately laughing from Trump's jokes.
yeah.
Meanwhile, Kamala never even showed up to that. I think that she sent a video of her
Oh my
some
god, the
cringe thing. It
video.
was really cringe. It was completely not reading the room. I think that she had an opportunity there to go and show that she's a good sport and tell some jokes or something. Really, really a missed opportunity. And that, along with the Fox News and, like you said, the town hall, this series of events somehow took her in a situation where she seemed. Now, I don't even. It's hard for me in this election to tell because of how the media is. Because there's so much online conversation that's different than what we see in the mainstream media that it's really hard for me to evaluate what's even going on now. I would say that the race seems close, but I don't really even know at this point. I mean, there were moments, I guess, that when Trump was against Biden, I thought that Trump had the lead. It felt like nobody believed that Biden was going to be president. That's
Yeah.
probably why the Democrats got scared and replaced him.
Mhm.
Uh, I mean, as much as I think that it's strange that you have a candidate that already won and he's your candidate, and after a debate you pulled him out because he didn't do well in a debate, which is kind of a cheat, and I don't love that. I will say that once they put Kamala in there, I feel like she had a little boost, a lot of positive mainstream media coverage, but it was like, all right, it's a new direction, it's a young new direction. She had a little bit of momentum, and it seemed like at least she was gaining some ground, or it seemed to kind of reset the power balance. And also there was that first debate, or that only debate that Trump did with her, where
Mhm.
he kind of let her get under his skin, even though she wasn't saying anything very clever, but she managed to annoy him, and it wasn't a good look for him.
Yeah.
So she had those moments that she seemed to sort of gain momentum. But as much as all of that happened, I feel like in the past few weeks something has changed.
Oh, yeah. Over the past few, I think they're scrambling, to be honest. From some of the things that I have seen, the the actions, the let's say unhinged comments that I've heard from some of the strategists on the left, I think they've got some internal polling that's got them very worried
I
about
think
this
so too.
election.
And a few things. So first of all, they tried the Fox News thing. Really, I actually think that that was the biggest blunder, uh, in terms of her campaign until now, because of she just didn't come out of that looking well. I know they tried to spin it that it was a positive thing, but I don't think it was. Seemed like a person that can't just come up with some answers on the fly. And anytime there's a tough answer, tough question, she's not able to really answer it. And I was saying last time that she was trying to sort of emulate Obama. Some people, as I said, they like him, they don't like him, but I think everybody can agree that if you put Obama, let him sit down and have a guy interview him and have a conversation, that guy knows how to work the room. He knows what he needs to do. He'll sell you, even if he's not doing the great job, even if he doesn't have anything good to say about it. He will conjure up something that'll seem very kind of, I don't know, with his charisma, whatever it is, he'll do something that'll make it seem like it's more than it is. And he has that gift, and she doesn't have it.
Yeah.
She's trying to emulate him, but she's not able to copy his style. It's not her style. I've been thinking about it because a lot of times I think to myself, she was supposed to be a prosecutor. She's a lawyer. How come she can't, do this? You'd think that with the jobs that she held, she should be better than she is. But one of the reasons that I think maybe she's not as good as she supposedly is supposed to be is because lawyers sometimes they have a lot of times to think and process how they want to answer something, and they answer in a way that's very calculated and very you don't want to admit wrongdoing. You want to be calculated and think about all the different angles. And when she gets asked a question, you can see that she doesn't want to answer it. She's thinking a lot.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I guess what I'm trying to say is she doesn't have that off the cuff ability to just say whatever.
No,
Uh,
no, she doesn't. She does not have that quick wit. She does not have that ability to process things and extemporaneously sort of jump in and start on in what she's doing. She can practice her remarks. She can, recite them and repeat them on cue, but actually being able to use that same ability that clearly Barack Obama had, where he's able to very quickly sort of pivot and adjust what he's saying and kind of change the way that he's delivering those remarks based on, like you said, kind of reading the room, right? She's not able to do that. It's clear she's not able to do that. So far, she's had the debate, which she was thoroughly prepared for that. She basically never answered the questions. She just coughed up talking points. She had the interview on Fox News where, again, he was asking her questions. She was not answering the questions, just talking points, talking points, talking points. And then she's had two town halls now in the last couple of weeks. Now, a traditional town hall is supposed to be an opportunity for people in the audience to ask you unscripted questions. Yes, they sort of vet them beforehand, very often, but it's a chance for that audience to ask them. And so they, in one of those events, basically, it came out that someone said, "Hey, can I ask a question?" I said, "Oh no, we've got predetermined questions." So they basically wrote the questions and gave them to the audience, rather than the audience submitting the questions and then getting to ask them of the candidate, which is fascinating. And in both of those events, I thought she looked terrible. And especially the CNN one that was done a couple of days ago with Anderson Cooper. Uh, it was just word salad and repeated talking points and fumbling the ball and inappropriate cackling. And it's bad. I just don't. They keep trying to get her out there. They need to get her out there because they want to try and appeal. They want people to know her better. But how can anybody how can anybody know her better if she's not being genuine when she's up there talking to people? So it's amazing. And of course, now we've also seen in the past few days, there's clearly been the message has gone out through whatever email chain that they use or whatever for the press and for all of their various different talking heads that go on these shows for the Democratic Party, that now it's time to start calling Trump a fascist. And you need to say it as many times as you possibly can, as fast as you can, without ever being interrupted. It's amazing. And to me, honestly, to devolve to that level where this is your final play. This is, we're coming up. We've got a couple of weeks before the vote. We literally have millions of people who have already cast their votes. I've cast my vote already. I went and did it a couple days ago because my day on election day is going to be a little too busy, so I'm just not going to be able to fill it in. So I've already taken care of mine. I know a lot of other people that have too. That their final play, their final push is Trump's a fascist. That feels desperate to me.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I want to tell you. It's as if they woke up a few days ago. They realized that this thing isn't going exactly the way they want, and based on their polling, they must know that something is up. And this is like kind of a Hail Mary pass. They're like, okay, Trump is the German mustache man. But the thing is, they've
Yeah.
tried this strategy before, and now it's like they're revisiting it in hopes that maybe if they scare people, that, if they're going to put the vote in, they're getting the German mustache man. They're really hoping that somehow it'll make a few people not vote for him. I don't know. I don't know how well that's going to work, but more than anything, and I don't know how it looks to other people. To me, when I saw that they were doing this over the past few days, I felt that it was a bit desperate. It just seemed like, until now, you kind of shifted away from this strategy, which I think was smart, and to come back to it just means that they don't really have anything else to say, and it really enhances the fact that a lot of people are saying that Harris, instead of explaining what it is that she wants to do or what she thinks she's going to do so well, most of the time, there's only three things I hear her talk about in any of these kind of interviews or anywhere she goes. A lot of times she brought up that she was from a middle class and her mom raised her. Again, you can mention that once or twice, but the amount of it that she mentioned it, and
Oh yeah.
also in unrelated questions. I mean, no matter what she's asked, she uses that in an answer. I think people kind of grew tired of that. So much so that I don't know. Even on Saturday Night Live, they made fun of her for saying that all the time. That's never a good thing because Saturday Night Live are very much, you know,
Oh yeah.
left leaning. So
Yeah.
if they think that's kind of silly and stupid, you're not scoring as many points as you want. And in
Nope.
addition to that, uh, you have the situation of she's gonna do like a price gogging. I don't know. She's gonna stop the prices. She's gonna tell people not to raise prices on. I don't know. It sounds like something that you would get like in Russia or in some communist country.
Oh
She's
yeah.
gonna
No.
control the free
Yeah. Price
market.
price controls are. I mean, there is no place where that's ever been done that it did not result in disaster. It always ends up causing all sorts of problems. Specifically, it causes shortages, so you don't have enough, and so then people go hungry. Uh, it's a bad, it's a terrible idea. Anyone who's
Terrible.
taken
It's not a good strategy.
anyone who's taken like economics 101 in college knows that price controls are a disaster because you can't control the market like that unless you have a totally centrally controlled economy where you literally are, placing control over absolutely everything in the economy. There's absolutely no way to do that without causing a complete disaster because it goes against the market forces that, drive people to want to produce product, that want to deliver that, and want, people who need to make money to, from producing and delivering the product. So it is the stupidest thing I think I've ever heard any presidential candidate ever mentioned, the idea of putting price controls in place for groceries. It's madness.
Right, and I think that, one of the final issues is that in addition to those 2 things, there's the how bad Trump is. Now, it's okay if you don't like your opponent and you have some negative things to say about his, personality or character or strategies or whatever it is, but when all you have to say is how bad he is, but you don't really have anything to elaborate except for, "He's like the German mustache man. Oh, no, like, you can't vote for him. He's the worst thing that ever happened." And even they ask her questions, "Well, you were in charge of the border with, you were the czar," or
Yeah.
whatever it is. "Oh, it's Donald Trump's fault." I mean, that really didn't make any sense, and it's just you can't have that every answer is that you don't like him and that he's bad
Yeah.
and all this stuff, and then when that doesn't work, you just say that he's the German mustache man and things like that. I I mean, I don't think he's the German mustache man. Even if he was, I don't think that this is a good strategy what she's doing.
No.
But
It
I don't think that he is. And the fact that all you're doing is trying to peddle this same narrative over and over again. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe that's good enough that somebody will think that's great. But personally, I think that she's making mistakes on a lot of different levels. And what I get from all of this is that they're just like I wrote in the thumbnail here that it seems like she's very nervous and her people are very nervous. Her camp are very nervous,
Oh, yeah.
and people just keep saying, "Oh, well, people are turning up to her thing." There isn't an event that she has without a big celebrity. She needs she goes to Detroit, she needs Eminem to come out and do be a hype man for Barack Obama, who then comes out and is a hype man for her. Uh, Again, like Obama, don't like Obama, he knows how to speak. So when he comes out, you have Eminem kind of getting the crowd pumped, and then he comes out and talks. They're really, really trying very hard. But at the end of the day, as much as they can try to do the hype man, once she comes to the microphone, she's the same person. She's not suddenly better. She
Yeah.
doesn't deliver things very well. She's very scripted, and she's not off the cuff. Trump, and we've been talking about this in the past few weeks, is that Trump, you may like him again and may not like him, but the one thing is that when he sits there and somebody asks him questions, he's super confident. He will answer anything, talk about anything with anybody. You may not like his answers, you may even not like him, but he's very, very comfortable sitting there and just saying whatever he wants. Maybe there are certain slogans that he likes to revisit, but at the end of the day, he can adapt to different conversations. He sat with Elon Musk. He talked with him for hours on just some live stream. He's able to have that kind of conversation. I feel like she doesn't have that.
No, no. And that's, I think, I believe it's tomorrow we're gonna be seeing, Trump on, Joe Rogan. And, I think that's gonna be fascinating, to see that. And, obviously she has, specifically, she has turned down, going on, Joe Rogan's show.
I'd love to hear more. That's something that's been cooking up in the past few hours that people keep saying, but I don't know enough about it. Do you have like an article or something about her turning it down?
Let me see.
Because honestly, I actually think that if she turned it down and she's not going there, it's probably for the best. If she actually went on Joe Rogan, I don't know how she'd survive that. She wasn't
Yeah.
able to sit with 60 Minutes and just have a softball interview without her re-editing all of her answers. Uh, Joe Rogan, that's not going to fly. I mean, He's not going to work with the questions in advance. He's going to sit there and shoot the breeze. And if you don't know how to roll with those kind of punches, then maybe you shouldn't do that kind of interview.
Yeah. So here's an article from Reuters. I shared it with you there, showing Harris not to appear on Joe Rogan's podcast. Says her campaign. So
I don't see it.
that
Are you
was
sharing? Oh, wait here.
yeah. I shared. I should be sharing it.
Okay, maybe let's see.
It's not showing up. There we go.
Okay.
Yeah. So this was just updated a few hours ago from Reuters. So her campaign says she will not appear. And then not to appear on popular podcaster Joe Rogan's program. A spokesman for her campaign said on Thursday the team had been in touch with Rogan's program about a possible appearance, but scheduling did not line up. Oh, poor Kamala.
Scheduling conflicts.
Yeah.
No, I mean, this is a dumb thing because this is a podcast, probably the #1 podcast in the world, listened to by so many millions of people.
Millions and millions of young men,
right,
that they are specifically trying to connect with.
If she would have somehow gone on this thing and knocked it out of the park, it would have actually made some kind of difference. But I can't imagine that she would have gone on that show and done well with it. I think that Joe Rogan's style doesn't work for her. Trump can sit there, and even if Joe Rogan says something that's just he doesn't agree with, or it's a difficult answer, you know that Trump is going to Trump his way out of it. Even if the answer is going to seem like it's completely bonkers, he will have an answer. He's going to deliver it with full confidence, maybe tell a few jokes, and maybe he'll those kind of off the cuff humor jokes will be funny enough that Joe Rogan will just let it go.
Oh yeah, and he'll be able to sit there and, like you said, just kind of shoot the breeze, jump onto whatever topic. Now, he may be not willing to talk about certain topics. If you watched any of the other, or listened to any of the other podcasts that he's done, there's sometimes he's like, I don't really know that we need to get into that. I'm not sure I really, that I really am ready to speak on that kind of thing. There were some where they were talking about policies towards China, policies towards Russian stuff. He's like, yeah, I have some ideas. I have some things that I want to do, but if I'm talking about it here, then it's not a surprise when we put that out in front of them.
Right, but even to do that kind of maneuvering out of the situation, he just does it off the cuff. He doesn't need any script. He just, he doesn't want to answer the question. He won't answer it, but the person talking to him will continue to chuckle with him and just, sit there and be relaxed and have a conversation with him. I haven't seen her do something like that. And this is stuff that I think you and I have been addressing over the past few weeks. But what was interesting was, I don't know if you saw this. You know that guy that I think he's like a billionaire, Kevin O'Leary or whatever his name is?
It's not ringing a bell.
From the Shark Tank or whatever it is?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So basically, everything that you and I have basically been saying, suddenly there was something where I think he was interviewing today. I think I'm trying to find that thing. I don't know if you saw it, that he interviewed today and he was talking about what he thought that Kamala was doing wrong, and he sounded like us. Like basically, he was saying things that I was thinking. Now I of course can't find that thing, but it was. Do you know what I'm talking about? I feel like I'm a crazy person.
No, I think I remember seeing something about that. But
let me see if I can find it. Maybe it was on his own.
Yeah. I did see a story earlier today, interesting, that apparently Barron, Trump's son, Barron, was the guy that helped Trump decide which podcasts he was going to appear on. So he helped him kind of figure out which ones were going to be the best ones.
Would be the best ones. Kevin O'Leary, you think?
No. Barron Trump.
Oh, Barron Trump.
Yeah,
really? His son was
helping him decide which podcast to go on.
That's funny. I hadn't heard that at all.
Yeah.
Well, then Barron did a good job, because I think that he's going on good things. But let me find this clip for you. I'm going to try to share it with you now. Yeah. And this was something he really talking about, stuff that you and I have been talking about. So I thought it was kind of cool. I'm going to try to play it. Hopefully people can hear it.
Trump is Trump.
Can you hear it?
People know
Yeah.
him. They've been listening to him for over 7 years. They know exactly how he is. He's no filter. However, he comes across as being very authentic. 45% of people hate him in America. 45% of people love him, and it's so that 10% undecided in 43 counties is going to make this up. I think for Harris right now, and she's had a tough week. And by the way, in my family, we're a divided family. We've got Harris supporters at the dinner table and staunch Trump supporters. So we hash it out like every kitchen in America is right now. And in having this narrative with my daughter recently, I said, do you believe that Trump, and by the way, she's a Harris supporter. I said, do you believe Trump is authentic? I mean, you may not like him, and she said 100%. The guy has no filter. He just says whatever's on his mind. How about Harris? She had to admit, she processes too much. She's got to just spit it out there. When she on the Fox interview was asked about the border, she could have said, yes, we made a mistake. I own it, and it won't happen again. But she didn't do that. And it was a huge miss because that thing is on her back, and somehow Trump has made it her issue, and it's not going to go away. She missed a huge opportunity.
I thought that was a pretty good
Yeah.
analysis, and I think that we were
Yeah.
saying a lot of similar things. That whether you like him or not, Trump just seems to act like himself. And I was saying earlier, and just in general, I'm thinking to myself that Kamala, probably because she's a lawyer, maybe that's the reason she doesn't have the off the cuff thing. I mean, I guess Obama is technically a lawyer, right? He is a lawyer, and he does have the off the cuff thing. She doesn't have it. I don't know why she doesn't have it, but she doesn't have it.
Yeah. Yeah. Not everybody has that. They don't have that back and forth that they can do, right? Where they can you can take what you know and what you've learned, and you can use that again. It's extemporaneous speech where it's not all about rehearsing it. It's more about embodying all this knowledge, and then that means that you can duck and weave, and you can change what you're talking about, and you can adjust based on what other people are saying or questions you're getting. And she clearly just doesn't have that gear. So
No, I don't
yeah.
think I don't think she does. And this isn't even it's not a Democrat or Republican thing. I'm also looking at it and kind of just trying to be objective as to how people are using their strengths and weaknesses. There have been times that I told you that I thought maybe Trump could have done something differently. In this
Yeah.
case, and especially in the past few weeks, I think that all of Kamala's sort of weaknesses have floated to the surface.
Yeah, and is someone said it was Wheelam 03 Kamala has performance anxiety. I honestly I think that might be part of it. I if you watch her and the way that she handles herself when she's on the stage, I think she looks nervous. She looks like she's really anxious. She's not
Do you
comfortable.
think that's why she laughs like that or cackles like that all the time?
Absolutely. No, 100%.
It's like a
That
nervous
laugh,
cackle?
yes, it is a nervous tick for her. Like when she's caught off guard, she's really nervous. She doesn't know what to do. She doesn't know how to respond. She is laughing. And yeah, I absolutely think that's something they probably had to work on that really hard. You've got a lot of people that have when you're speaking publicly that have little ticks like that because they're very nervous being up in front of people. They're very nervous talking to a large crowd, and they react to that differently. And yeah, I think that it's a nervous laugh, and that's why we see it so much. I think she's actually probably riddled with anxiety, to be honest.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's strange because she's held public office positions, so you'd think that she'd be a little more relaxed when it comes to this stuff. It's strange that she's not able, like I said, not able to do better than she is. I guess maybe if she sat here every Tuesday and Thursday with us at the Night Owl, and she was shooting with the breeze with us all the time, maybe she'd feel more comfortable. But as it is
Yeah.
now, any place you send her that there's questions and people want to talk to her, she seems like there's something wrong.
Yeah, I what else can you say? It just feels like she's kind of lost up there.
And yet still, it's hard for me to really tell what's going on with this election. In our corners of the internet and the places that we look a lot at X, the former Twitter. We're here on Frumble. Sorry, I meant we're
Frumble,
here on
that's new.
Frumble. Wow, I don't know how that came out. We're here on Rumble. I meant that it's a free speech. I was thinking,
Yeah.
I did a Kamala. I was going to say that we're on a free speech platform like Rumble, and it came out Frumble, which is kind of funny in and of itself. But in any case, what I'm saying is, we're on Rumble. We're on other social media platforms. We're on X, and I think that in our corners of the internet, people are very kind of direct these days and just call it as they see it, and it's more people telling it like it is. But there are a lot of people that are not on those platforms, and they have a different approach, a different mentality. We're not all alike, and to tell you that I know 100% how this is all going to play out, I'm not 100% sure. I know that every election to date, I was fairly confident of who was going to win, and I'm usually right. There's a guy that they kind of always they kiss his ass, and they're like, "Do you know that since the year 2000 he's gotten everything right?" Well, you know what? I've gotten everything, and I think except for one time, I've gotten it right every time. Every time before an election that I thought somebody was going to win, however many times there was since the year 2000, I was right about all of them. The only thing is that this time, because we have the mainstream media, because we have people that are of a different mindset, and then we have X, and then Rumble, and all these other type of sites, I'm not 100% sure. I'm just. It seems like Trump is gaining momentum, but I don't know for sure.
Yeah. For me, when I look at it again, it's always hard to sort of separate your own personal bias from what you're viewing out there in the world, right? And then we all, it's just a human thing that we do, is we all tend to seek out the media that tends to reinforce our own expectations and our own views on things. So sometimes it's really hard to get out of that. I do as much as I can to read stories and media and see things from other places, but even when I'm reading some of these stories, from various other sites, various other outlets, I still am looking through them, and all I see is the Kamala's campaign struggling, and Trump's campaign cruising along. And I don't know if that ends up, actually delivering the votes in that fashion. But it just really seems like one side has some momentum, is just moving forward, and the other is really struggling to even keep the ground that they already have. And so, I guess we'll just have to wait and see, right? There's been a lot of indications so far that technically, we don't know how people have voted. All we know is their voter registrations. But typically, in early voting, Democrat voters typically have a large lead, and right now, that is not the case.
It's
The
not.
registered Republicans are taking huge, huge leaps forward in early voting right now. Of course, we don't know about mail-in voting. We don't know, any of that. We won't know that until after election day, or that the evening of election night, or in the case of Arizona, 2 weeks later, because they apparently don't know how to count. Um, but the rest of the country will be decided. uh,
It'll
but
certainly be interesting to see how it plays out. I am
yeah,
very, very curious. It's a very different election
yeah.
than I feel like what we've ever had. I mean, every time you can say that about every election, but this one feels a bit different, even to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And and the final thing is, I mean, every time I started saying this, they need Eminem, they need Obama,
Well,
they're
yeah,
going to
yeah,
bring Beyonce,
Bruce Springsteen out there
Bru-
tonight.
Bruce
Yeah.
Springsteen, Usher the other day. It's like every time she comes out, they need to have a concert uh, to bring some kind of artist with a big name to do a concert to get people excited. And Trump usually, most of the time, just walks out and the show is him. There may be somebody there talking before or after him, but none of the people that came to see his rally went there because they thought maybe Usher would be there. They came there to see Trump, and they want to stand there and watch him talk for hours about whatever he wants. He could just say whatever he wants, and they'll all just sit there and listen to him, and they're very excited to see him. And he's doing it largely on his own. Today, interestingly, in Nevada, he had Gina Carano there. Did you see this?
No, I did not.
No, this
That's
just
interesting.
happened before our
Yeah.
stream. I don't know. Is there a way to find that? Where do we find the rally now? If I want to show the clip of Gina Carano, where do we find that?
Oh, well, I'm sure it's on Fumble somewhere. Sorry, Rumble.
Frumble, that's what I
Rumble.
said. But no,
Oh,
but no,
Frumble.
Rumble
Not
doesn't
Fumble.
fumble.
No,
Rumble is
no,
great.
no. Let's see.
You know
I'm
what? Maybe here
not
in this thing. This thing is
sure.
I think this thing is showing. No,
You
maybe
find
it's
it.
done. I don't know.
You find it.
Let me see
Oh,
if
yeah. That was the Turning Point rally
yeah.
earlier today. Gina
Yeah,
Carano.
but they're only showing the Trump part. They're not showing Gina Carano.
Yeah,
Let's
it's
see if
only
I can find
showing
this.
a few minutes. Yeah, that's only showing a few minutes worth of stuff.
Well, he's done speaking. He was speaking
Yeah.
for a while, but let me see if I can find Gina Carano. Maybe it's on YouTube. Somebody must have clipped things somewhere. You know what? Maybe on X.
Yeah. So we've had lots of different stars started chiming in on the election. We had earlier today I saw a story about Mel Gibson. Did you hear about this one?
No, I didn't hear anything.
Mel Gibson came out and was saying that Kamala Harris has the IQ of a fence post.
Of a what? What?
The IQ of a fence post.
Fence post. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Gibson added that talking about the election, that it ain't good if your current VP won the very close election over Trump. She has a miserable track record, an appalling track record, and absolutely no policies to speak of. So, yeah, he was definitely very open about his feelings there. There's been who was it that was making comments about Elon Musk a couple days ago, and it was talking about Trump. Oh gosh. Let's see. Have you no luck finding the Gina Carano?
no, I
thing?
think somebody in the chat here put it here, so I'm gonna.
Oh, all right.
Okay, yeah, we actually have it here.
Awesome.
All right, let's see if we can put it on. We can do some commenting on it. Maybe not everybody's seen it. Full speech, Gina Carano. What's interesting is, Gina Carano has been so much with Disney and her lawsuit and all that stuff. Interesting that she's here talking. So let's see what she has to say.
Oh, I get it. Yeah, I need to get it up there. I can't see it yet.
You can't see it?
Nope.
Let me see. Stop share screen. Start share screen. And then here at Price of Reason, we take our technical department. We have a
There we
special
go.
technical division.
There we go.
There we go. I think now.
right.
And now
Yeah,
let's hope that we can hear what she says too.
Yeah. Yeah, I can hear it.
You know
Sounds
what?
good.
This is going to be a much different speech than all the ones you've seen. Hi, Las Vegas. It's nice to see you again. Hi. You know, a lot of celebrities say, I'm leaving the country if Donald Trump is elected. I will not be leaving the country if someone I don't like is installed in power. I plan on staying here and fighting it out. That's what patriots do. That's what the people who truly love Americans do. And those celebrities who threaten to leave will leave anyway once they've installed a government that seeks to destroy us. 70 years ago, both my grandfathers made their path and built incredible companies, starting from the ground up. One right here in Las Vegas and one in Reno, Nevada. I have two of the best examples of what a truly great leader is, and how important it is. My Papa Jack was quoted saying, lead men by going the extra mile yourself. I'm an actress who got my start professional fighting right here in your mixed martial arts gyms in Las Vegas. Thank you. I'd rather be being punched in the face than giving a speech right now. But I'm doing this for America. I'm doing this because this election is so important. It's so valuable. I didn't actually start voting until I was 2020. And I realized that, my gosh, there is such a prejudice here. I was voting for who I thought was the best candidate, and that was Donald Trump. And that still is Donald Trump. I was targeted, discriminated against, shamed and fired from one of the most powerful entertainment companies in the world. They fired me at the height of my career, and I went out to, I know, Disney. They deserve that.
He's funny.
Thank you. Thank you. You guys have been paying attention to my story. I appreciate that. I mean, they've gone out of the way to make an example out of me, but I think by the grace of God, He's helping me make an example out of them. I'm currently suing Disney with Elon Musk's and X's backing. I have never even spoken to Mr. Musk, but this kindness he has done me and many others, I feel is something you only see in the movies. I am so grateful to him and the X platform. Without X, we truly would not know the truth of what is happening around the world and would have to rely on the corrupt media. The corrupt media, Donald Trump bent over his knee and broke their back, exposing them for who they truly work for. Worldwide, they are targeting Elon Musk and X to silence and control him over freedom of speech. That's something we pay our American governments to do. Why would a government who is busy manipulating the system and filling their pockets ever respond to the people's voice, which the people's voice has become the Republican Party? The Democrats have suffered no accountability. I will tell you my personal belief: a vote for Kamala Harris is no other than a vote for a shadow government and greedy corporations who will walk over our dead bodies and turn around and use those bodies to keep themselves in power. Just look at the 325,000 children who have gone missing. Maybe we should be keeping that body count on the news. I want to tell you, Las Vegas and Nevada, I respect you so much because I lived here. I bartended at the Wynn. I know that you're a 24-hour city. The people don't know when they're not from Nevada. They think, oh, are there schools there? and there's families here, there's patriotic families here who are the best at what they do. They're the best chefs, they're the best salespeople, they're the best real estate people, and they're the best performers. Nevada, you're gonna show up, and you already have showed up, but we need to continue that on. We need, because we all saw, and we can all see how it can happen on election night. We need to make sure that we put the pressure on, we do not let up, and we make this an overwhelming majority vote for Donald Trump. I'd like to just share a couple quotes that I think are pretty, I don't know, things that I like. I'm skipping a couple pages here because I know that I think Trump's ready to come on. There's this quote that I think is very appropriate for what a lot of us in the room stand for. And I think it's from the Mr. Robot series, so let me read it for you. Some people are just born to fight, I think. It's not that they're born brave, it's not that they're born strong. It's just that the universe has decided that this one will have grit and fire and steel in their blood. And it'll be tested, this cosmic metal of theirs. They'll face trial after trial, be broken and damaged in countless ways, but this one was born to fight. Maybe it's not the life they would have chosen. Maybe they'd love to lay down their arms, but they were born to fight. It's what they know. It's what they do best. It's all they can do. I want to encourage you to never give up. Cast your vote. This is our first and most important step towards saving America. It is the healthiest act. It is the right thing to do, so we do not look back and say we didn't go through the motions of the best possible outcome. Don't get cocky. We've seen how easily votes can change in the middle of election night. Make this election overwhelmingly obvious. I truly hope this is the start of a great awakening and not a world where the puppeteers say, by 2030, you will own nothing and be happy. I'll leave you with a Bible verse that is much easier said than done, but I pray for the strength for us and for me to uphold it. Then I heard the voice of the Lord saying, "Whom shall I send, and who will go for us?" And I said, "Here am I, send me."
Well, I thought that was a pretty decent speech. What did you think about it?
I should probably unmute myself first. Yeah.
You should.
Yeah, I thought that was really good. She sounded, really, really open, really herself. She didn't sound like she was, just reading a bunch of prepared remarks. It seemed like she was being honest and open with everyone. And yeah, it's good to see her out there speaking her mind. Really great. I feel absolutely awful for her and everything that she's had to face, at the hands of Disney and everything. I am also very, very happy that finally all of the stuff that's been happening in the court with Disney trying to get out of actually having to make a real actually make a real case for why they fired Gina and why that's okay and whatnot, that they're actually now essentially saying, no, you are going to we're going to move forward with this case. You're going to have to present your evidence. You're going to have to show us what was going on. We're going to have to go through discovery. Yep. And
I can't wait. Like, I don't know what's
Yeah.
going to happen, but I can't wait. I can't wait to see those emails. That's good. That's going to be really something fun. I don't know what's going to happen, if they'll try to settle or whatever it is, but if this thing moves forward and she's fighting and we get to see the emails, if nothing else, that's going to be very
Oh yeah,
entertaining.
they are absolutely going to try to settle. I don't know how far they're gonna go with that, but they are absolutely going to try to settle.
I think I've said it before, and I think, and you may think it's crazy. I think it's worth $1 billion to them. I think that this
Could
is
be.
worth a lot of money for this thing to go away. I could be wrong, but them sitting down and reading those emails, what I think is in those emails, that would be such a disaster for them. And I think that they're going to try to go through great lengths to avoid to make that not happen, including offering her insane amounts of money.
It's again, I am not going to put that idea aside that they might come back with some truly insane number that she just can't
I mean,
turn
what's
down.
$1 billion? I mean, they spent
But
like they spent $500 million
yeah,
on Rise of Skywalker. You think they're not going to be like on Indiana Jones? They spent like 400 million or whatever it is. You think they can't cut a check for her? Do you know how much the stock can take a hit if something is exposed here that really shows
yeah,
this kind of behavior?
yeah.
That could
Well,
be real damage for them.
they could have a backlash from from investors as well if they're offering some monstrous settlement to her too. That they can't face sunlight, they can't face discovery because what are we going to find out?
Well,
If it's that damaging to the company that you're going to offer her $1 billion settlement,
they'll do a
uh,
confidential agreement. They
yeah,
won't say. I mean, usually these things get out at the end, but they're not going to say how much it is that they're settling for. But it's not going to be a good look. But look, Scarlett Johansson, she sued them because they were doing all this crap, and they opened up their checkbook. They gave Scarlett Johansson, I think, 40-50 millions dollars to shut up. I think that Scarlett Johansson is small potatoes compared to this. If they offered her 40-50 million, at minimum, I think this is worth hundreds of millions.
could be, could be.
But we'll see. And the question is, what happens when she's in that position, if she takes the deal or not? If somebody offered me $1 billion, I don't know what I would do. I mean, if it's a matter of principle, she could say, no, I don't care about the billion. I just want to do what's right. At the same time, could somebody get really upset at her if she took $1 billion or $500 million or whatever it is? Who knows?
Yeah, we'll just
But
have to wait and
it's going to
see.
be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah,
And let's see how desperate they are. Unless these emails aren't a big deal, but I feel like they are, or they wouldn't be doing everything that they're doing.
yep.
And in terms of being a spokesperson, she seems very likable. I've said this before. I personally, I like it better when celebrities, no matter what party they support. I really like the days where I want to enjoy more the celebrity and the actor and not really know all this other stuff about them. At the same time, considering how all her peers do this all the time, she's definitely within her right. If they all like one candidate, she can say she likes the other candidate, and people don't have to give her a hard time or humiliate her for it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, this whole thing with her has just been amazing. The people who just nobody will come out to defend her. If you do come out to defend her, you're called all sorts of awful names. She's been dragged through the mud, raked over the coals, and all of this at the hands of the biggest media company in the world. And it's baffling that people have so little sympathy for her just because she said some stuff that they saw as being, anti LGBTQ2IA plus whatever. Uh, you know, it's amazing.
She technically didn't even do anything when it comes to the LG community thing. She basically did something that, on the surface, there's nothing wrong with what she did. She writing in her name "beep bop boop" with that's nothing. That doesn't mean anything.
Mm-mm.
Even if it was a statement to the people that were harassing her, I think that that we live in a world that a person can't write that in their bio without having people having meltdowns. That whole situation was so annoying, and Lucasfilm is a terrible company with terrible, in my opinion, terrible people working in it, and the fact that they would go along with this weird, angry mob of crazy lunatics to try to, initially cancel her over this stupid thing and make her try to go through a struggle session, and then later, fire her for some other dumb thing. I really, really, I think what they did is terrible. And, years from now, when we look at this era, which will probably be referred to as the woke era, I don't
Yeah.
know how else to call it, but I think it will be the woke era. When I say that, some people are like, "Oh, you're such a terrible person that you think that." No, that's what I think it's going to be called, because I don't know what else to call this era of, from 2016 until now. What else do I call it if it's not, at least when it comes to entertainment? If this isn't the woke era, I don't know what it is. You have like the McCarthy era,
Yeah.
so this is the woke era. I don't really know how else to call it. It's not even a word that I love. Uh, I don't use it often, but I think that it wouldn't surprise me if years from now that's what it's going to be called. And within that era, there will be a number of examples for how crazy things got, and how, with McCarthy, they talk about Trumbo or whatever it is. They're always
Mhm.
crying and whining about him. They made movies about what a martyr he was and all this other stuff. Meanwhile, the same people that make those movies more than happy to just take some person who's on the other side of the political spectrum, just ruin their career and humiliate them. I don't see any kind of violins for those people that they want to cancel all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think that there's going to be any other label for this time other than calling it the woke era. But I don't know. Oh,
And
looks like we've got. Oh, go ahead.
she's going to be a prime example for what that means. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? They're going to
Yeah.
actually. By the way, what was I gonna? You were
Oh.
saying something. You
Oh,
said.
well, so we've got a super chat over on YouTube from
Oh, okay.
the Dead Man channel member. Thank you, the Dead Man. Thank you for your support for $4.99. Says, I don't care if you're religious or not, but it's refreshing to see a celebrity talking about their faith. Yeah, it's very rare to see celebrities that are actually willing to talk about any religious observances that they have. Right? Typically, they're going to get attacked. So, yeah.
And speaking of all of that, I don't know why I remember that. So just to sum it up, I want to say that I think years from now, Gina Carano will really be an example for what happened during this era. If you have to suddenly sum it, you know how sometimes there's an era and you read about it later in a chapter in a book. I can totally see Gina Carano being an example used for somebody that was canceled this way in entertainment. Like I said, like a Trumbo, and I think that history, I'm hoping, will at least call the people out that did this for what they really are, and I hope that her trial goes in a way that really exposes some of this nonsense. And listen, I'm hoping that kind of this type of exposure will make the industry better. I think it should be more open-minded to different people with different opinions. It can't be that it's just you either agree with the one thing that everybody says they agree with, or you're out. I don't like that. It shouldn't be that way, and certainly not from people that keep supposedly preaching about inclusivity and things like that. That is unacceptable for me. You don't have to agree with Gina. You may not like who she voted for. You may not have the same religion as her, and you may not have the same beliefs as her. But that doesn't mean she isn't allowed to have them. There's so many situations that in my life I've met people from different walks of life. Maybe there's things about them that are fundamentally different than things about me, but that doesn't mean I can't have a conversation with them, or I can't be friends with them, or I can't try to understand where they're coming from. It doesn't mean that because they're different, then they're somehow not allowed to be somewhere and they have to go just because they have a different opinion. It's not even a situation that she came out and said, well, this group of people here, I hate them all and I want them to die. which is more than I can say than some of the people on the other side that want to cancel her. She's always struck me as a really nice person. Anybody that's worked with her said she was really nice. Even people that are very different in their political views. I know Carl Weathers, the late Carl Weathers, really liked her. I know Bill Burr really liked her. People that worked with her said, she's so nice to work with. And so
Yeah.
what? So she voted for somebody that you didn't vote for. She has more religious values or whatever it is. So what? Does that mean she's not a person? That's discrimination.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I think she's going to be an example. In addition to that, there was something else I saw. Did you see that Robert Downey Jr.? Did I see that quickly that he was criticizing Elon Musk or something?
Yeah, I did. There was an interview that he was doing. Let's see here. There was an interview he was doing, and someone was asking him about his opinions on Elon Musk, because obviously Elon Musk is kind of viewed as the the real Tony Stark or whatever.
The real
right?
Tony Stark. Yeah. So here was the quote. Robert Downey Jr. wishes Elon Musk would control his behavior. I've only met him a few times. It's an almost 60-year recovering white American male. As an almost 60-year-old recovering white American male, I just wish that he would control his behavior a little more, but that's not on me. I like Robert Downey Jr., and it saddens me that he too gets caught up on this nonsense. Stop talking about, why does everybody has to keep talking about skin color every second?
Yeah.
You can say
he's a recovering white American male. So, yeah, he's got to make penance for having been born white and male. So yeah, he's got to recover from that,
if you would have
right?
said, listen, I've made mistakes in my life. I'm a recovering, substance abuser or something like that. I know what it is to kind of get carried away. Sometimes I think Elon Musk, goes overboard a bit with his opinions. But everybody is the way they are. That's one thing. But to just the second he starts sticking, I'm a white American male, a recovering whatever, I don't like that. I'm so tired of this whole skin color thing, and I'm so tired of people, especially in those Hollywood things, that they're like, "Oh no, we're white. Oh no, we're white." If it's so bad that you're white, why don't you take the $500 million you've made from those MCU movies and give them to a black person? If you feel, you really want to make justice in the world, why don't you find a black person on the street and give them your $500 million? And if you don't want to, and I like Robert Downey Jr. a lot, and I really like him as Iron Man, and I like him as an actor, but if you don't want to give away your $500 million, maybe it's best to just shut up.
Yeah. We had who was the other one that we had? It was Michael Keaton. Yeah, did you see the comments he was making?
Oh, let me find that one. Yeah, that was kind of cringe too.
So yeah, Michael Keaton was slamming Trump and Elon Musk and saying, these people think that these people are their bros, right? But they don't actually care about you. They don't respect you. They make fun of you behind your back.
Yeah. Can you see it? Can you hear
it?
Yeah.
For some of you folks who, guys mostly, I guess, who are thinking about attending a rally with Musk and Trump, they don't really respect you. They laugh at you behind your back. They think you're stupid. They don't want to hang out with you. They have nothing in common with you. They're not your bros. And I'm telling you, when Trump years ago, I guess, said, I could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and they'd still vote for me. Basically, what he's saying in parentheses is, these people are so stupid, they're so dumb, they'd still vote for me. They have no respect for you. Trust me. Hey, hi, Michael. For some of you folks who...
Yeah.
Oh, you go ahead.
No, I was just, do you, Michael? Are you our bro? Do you want to go hang out with us?
I just checked. It said he has a net worth of $40 million.
Yeah.
Even if it's off by a few million here or there, it sounds like this guy doesn't really have any financial worries. I don't think he's my bro either. I think that he's sitting around in some mansion with millions of dollars. He's like literally swimming in money. I don't think that he and I are in the same boat. When I have $40 million in my bank account, then I'll tell him that he and I are one and the same. And until then, maybe you should just kind of take a step back. And there's something so condescending about it, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I've noticed, again, I always say this, that I don't love politics to begin with, but I am analyzing the campaign as we're seeing it. Most of the things we see on the other side, the more, you know, right-leaning or Republican side, they talk to you about why they like the person that they want to vote for. They talk about the things that are important to them, and then that's why they're voting for whoever they're voting. This side, all I hear is people complaining about how bad the other side is and how they're terrible, and you shouldn't vote for them because they're terrible. I never hear people saying, you know what, the people here, these are good people that have a lot of great things in store for you. They want to do A, B, C, and D for you. And they're really good at doing this. They have like a great plan, something. All they have is that they hate the other guy. That's all they have. And for me, this isn't a good campaign strategy. Even Michael Keaton popping up now, this feels like part of the thing that they're worried about, that the demographic of males seems to be more favorable towards Trump. I guess I don't know how it all boils down. You know, when it comes to different people from different backgrounds, males from different backgrounds. But I think that there's an overall feeling that Trump is speaking more to men, and that's why they're doing all of white dudes for Harris. Oh, I'm a white recovering white man, and then he's like, oh, they're not your bros. Blah blah blah. It seems rather pathetic to me. You know, it's totally fine. I personally, like I said, I would prefer all the celebrities deal with their craft and not with politics. I really would prefer that. But that ship has sailed at this point. So at least if you're going to talk about your politics, say what it is that you think is positive. I've never hear these people say one positive thing that they think is going to happen. All they do is have meltdowns over Trump, meltdowns over Musk. And the funny thing is, you take 5-10 years back, all these people were buddy with Musk and Trump. They wanted their money. They wanted their company. They wanted to be friends with them. They wanted to be seen with them. They were all kind of kissing their ass and buddy with all of them. Trump appeared, you know, Trump appeared on a Big Bang Theory. Do you remember that?
Yes, yeah. No, he was on tons of shows. He was on Saturday Night Live.
Sorry, I meant Musk.
Sesame Street. Oh, Musk.
Yeah, sorry. Musk appeared on Big Bang and Saturday Night Live. Trump appeared on Saturday Night Live, like he said, but he did a bunch of other movies. He would go to The View where they'd kiss his ass. Now they all hate him. He would go to Saturday Night Live. He would go to even Saturday, I think, on Stephen Colbert and on Jimmy Fallon, and they'd go around and they'd all chuckle and have a good laugh with him and say how great he is. He'd be invited to all their parties. He would be invited to those Clinton Hillary wedding things. Anything that was like a who's and who's party, they'd bring him there, and many times they'd ask us donations for these kind of candidates. They did this for years. All they had to say was like the best things about him. He runs for president. They hate him. He is the new German mustache man. And according to them. And all I'm saying is that it's kind of a very strong shift from inviting him to every party and kissing his ass to that he's the German mustache man.
Yeah. Oh, did you see? We don't need to go look it up on Twitter. We probably move on to something else. But did you see a couple of days ago after there were all of these media appearances and all of the the speech that she made and everything about how Trump's a fascist and all this stuff and he's the German mustache man. So some people started posting pictures on Twitter. There was one particular user that was doing a lot of it, but they were posting a whole bunch. There were all of these pictures of him with all of these celebrities. And
yes, I thought that was very well done.
Picture German mustache man with captive,
I don't want to share it because I don't want to get in trouble because even though it's sarcastic, it may be interpreted the wrong way.
Yeah.
But it basically was saying the bottom line is that it was saying if he's the German mustache man, what's he doing here hanging out with Alec Baldwin? Why is he hanging out with Tina Fey? Why is he on Saturday Night Live? Why is he hanging out with Reverend Jesse Jackson? Like they were showing all this. He's like getting an award for helping like black youth. Why is he doing all that if he's the German mustache man? And really, I don't think that most of these people have any answers for it. Again, Do I think that he's a perfect person? No. Do I think that he's a saint? No. Do I think that he, everything he says is great? No. But I still think that it can't be that everybody's just lined up against him in 100% in the way that they have, whereas there's another candidate that they're all just 100% for, and and it's just all in. It's fair enough to
Yeah.
criticize him, but I don't like the direction, not what they've been doing for years and not what they're doing now. I don't know what'll happen in the future. I can just say in the past, he has been in office for 4 years. He didn't seem to be what they're describing him as. Their whole thing is, well, he didn't seem to be then, but you don't know what he's going to do in the future. Okay, fair enough. I don't know what he's going to do in the future, but this thing that the left is doing, along with the media, I just can't get behind that. I think that is it's not a fair way to cover an election.
Yep. Yep. Well, it's all very clearly coordinated, and it feels deeply dishonest to me. But I think we had a few other things we wanted to talk about
For sure.
tonight. I think there was something you said something about a gaming magazine or something you want to talk about. I had something I wanted to share. This was some news that came out just earlier this evening.
Is
That
it the Ray one? That Ray
the
thing?
Ray, yes, the news about the Ray film apparently not going to be shooting next year because it is evolving. What lovely language.
Let me see if I can find that post. I think Scribe Light.
Yeah.
Scribe Light had a good post about it. Let's see what he did.
Yeah. So, but yeah, this is the article on that Park Place. It sounds like the movie, the Ray movie, is likely not going to be shooting this next year, as it is if things are evolving, and so possibly the James Mangold film will be pushed up and start shooting next year. I don't know. As far as I can tell, uh, I don't think either of these movies are ready to roll. But I guess we'll see. Of course, we've already had some, just already this week we had a very high profile apparent cancellation of the Blade movie. And so now this pushing back the Ray movie. Honestly, I am still in the camp of this movie never happening. I really don't think it's ever going to be shot.
I don't think it's going to be made either, but I actually hope that it doesn't get made. I'm tired of all these crappy movies, and I want Kathleen Kennedy to go home and for them to stop all of this nonsense. Nobody wants these movies. These movies all sound terrible, and with her as the leader, I can't imagine anything's good's gonna come out of it.
Yeah.
Not to mention that nobody cares about that Ray character anymore anyways. I mean, what are they going to do to make people actually invested in Ray? I think that ship has sailed. Sometimes you got to look at something and say, okay, we messed up. There's nothing we can do to fix it. Let's try to do something else. Now, we always say this, and I agree with us again. If they did something that's like 1,000 years after the events of Return of the Jedi, maybe don't even talk about all that other nonsense that happened afterwards. Do like a whole new generation discovering, like somebody that's discovering the Jedi powers. I don't know what anything. I don't care. That discovers the Force and becomes a Jedi. Something in the future, hundreds of years at least after the events of Return of the Jedi, if not 1,000, and just try to start something new.
Yeah, tell a whole new story. I'm not sure they know how to write a whole new story. It seems
I don't
like
think they
Hollywood.
do. They don't know how to do anything. Not the kind of people that they hire. But that
Yeah.
again goes back to the reason why she needs to go. And all those storybook people and those crazy jerks that she works, jerk offs, in my opinion, jerk offs that she works with, I think that they should all go.
Yeah, I just don't think that there's anything they can do with the character of Ray that's going to bring in an audience. It doesn't matter what the story is, doesn't matter who else they bring in to co-star. It could be just this amazing collection of all these big stars and everybody. It's not going to matter. Nobody cares. It's such an empty character. We got 3 films with her, and all we know is she's got every power she ever needs immediately when she needs it, and that she's as strong as everybody, even without hardly any practice, without any training, without anything. She's stronger than even Darth Sidious, who's got all this power. And it's mind numbing crap, and they completely destroyed all credibility they had with that last film. Rise of Skywalker was a disaster. No, they really turned off a lot of fans with The Last Jedi.
For
And
sure.
then they turned off just about everyone who was left with The Rise of Skywalker. It was just such a dreadful film. So
I mean, the thing is that The Last Jedi, it's a movie that whoever made it, like Rian Johnson, knew what he was doing. I don't like what he did, and I think that he's annoying, and I think he's overrated. But he at least knew what he was trying to accomplish, and he did it. Rise of Skywalker doesn't even know what it's trying to accomplish. It's just, I can see J.J. Abrams' dumb-looking face on the set, just conjuring together these action scenes, hoping that if he puts all this nonsense together, there'll be so much nonsense that you just won't notice or won't realize how bad it is. He really, really counted on that, and I think it's an insult to any viewer, and just a testament to what an overrated hack J.J. Abrams is, in my opinion.
It was such a bizarre, just like fetch quest of these. Oh, we're gonna go here, and then that's gonna take us there, and then if we get the thing here, it's gonna take us there. It was such a mess, and then none of it really makes any sense beyond.
It doesn't even have like a coherent plot.
No.
It's basically, I heard that he started filming scenes that look like interesting action scenes to him without having any kind of dialogue or script to even do anything. He was working on these action scenes before he had even written a script. And then he just tried to put together some kind of really like a Frankenstein of a movie, Frankenstein's monster, whatever it is, of a movie, just stitching weird things together, hoping that at the end he can somehow, through ADR and some weird edits, explain what it is that we're looking at.
Yeah.
Considering that it costs like, I think $500 million, they wouldn't even tell the truth when it came out. It costs like $500 million. It means that I don't even think it broke even. Considering how much this movie cost to make, that he didn't even have a real script and he's just filming a bunch of nonsense. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
That's the type of thing that you take Kathleen Kennedy, you fire her, you fire all the people around her, you never let them in the building again, and you have a whole new team of people. And somehow she just did it over and over again, and they would let her stay.
Yeah, it's baffling how that's going. Yeah. So, it looks like we got a Rumble rant here. We also got a super chat over on YouTube that we missed a little bit ago. So let's go ahead and get that one again from the Dead Man channel member. Thank you for $1.99. Remember when Dick Cheney was a war criminal?
I mean, that's also weird. They hated him and they hated Bush, and now they're embracing them.
He was Satan. They hated his guts. He was a war criminal. He was the worst person in the world.
Right. They hated Bush too. Now they're like, they're proud of the fact that these guys support them. And again, listen, again, it's all politics, but Cheney's and Bush don't like Trump because he's not part of their clique and he didn't show them respect, and he was kind of rude to Jeb and whatever it is. So they don't take kindly to that kind of thing. And that's probably why they've, crossed the aisle to go support these guys. But it's funny how people have a short memory and how much they hated him, but then now they're all, well, I guess they have that saying that politics makes strange bedfellows or something like that.
Yeah.
So that is certainly a case. Also, Liz Cheney, and I don't know what, the McCain lady that she likes, Kamala, I don't know what, but yeah, it just goes to show you, none of these politicians, it's not really worth anything. It's all just a bunch of nonsense. Now, it's fine. If people took it that way and just understood it, would be fine. When people look at it so seriously and they're not willing to accept the hypocrisy that's here, and especially with these more. I'm not saying that people on the right can't be guilty of hypocrisy, but I think that the amount of hypocrisy that we're seeing actually from the more ultra left side is it's off the charts. But regardless of all of that, we were talking about this Ray movie, which we hope will never get made.
Yep.
And
That's the hope.
oh, you said there. Did we read both super chats?
No, we did not get the Rumble rant. If you want to pop that one up there, we can get the Rumble rant.
Okay,
I
let's
did
do
get
that
the
one.
super chat though. Yeah. Oh, you want me to read it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You read it.
Yeah.
You're a
Okay.
better
Okay.
reader.
So, some late guy, LI 1990 for $5 over on Rumble. Thank you. I can't say for sure, but maybe Star Wars is something best left alone and not ruined by idiots. The classics in some games are enough, in my humble opinion. I think I would agree. At the very least, they need to put Star Wars away for another 5 or 6 years, and just nothing. Just make nothing. Start making toys from the original films. But put out some awesome new Lego Star Wars Lego sets and stuff. But just put Star Wars in the vault for a little while and just stop until that you can pull a team together that actually knows what Star Wars is, can actually write something worthwhile. Because it's just a disaster out there right now.
This is the thing that I wanted to show you with a gaming company.
No, all right.
Have you heard about this?
Oh, the gaming awards. Oh no, I haven't. What's going on here?
Well, I'll tell you what. Basically, there's this magazine called the Gaming Magazine, and it's spelled gay like this, Gaming
Mhm.
Magazine. And I guess it's promoting LG people within the gaming world or whatever it is. I was looking at it. I was hoping maybe you saw more of this. I think that Grums and Smash JT were kind of going over the fact that they sort of offer the way they're structured, and the kind of deals they offer is that if you want basically them to write something good about your game, you pay the money and they'll do it. They set up awards, they set up all this stuff, but there's a whole business angle to it. I'm trying to see. Gaming, or it's an annual event designed to celebrate LGBT representation gaming. On the surface, this seems like a well-meaning effort, but then they actually want money. This is the type of rates that they're looking to get from people: $150,000 to be a presenting partner, $90,000 to be an event sponsor, $50,000 to sponsor a single category in the day sponsor, $50,000 to be an indie festival sponsor, $35,000 just to be labeled as a supporter. These are their very, very high amounts of money, and the fact that they're kind of trying to get these type of rates from people, and effectively they're saying, oh, you have social media posts that they're guaranteed impressions of 600,000 views. That is a very high amount of views. I don't know how they can sort of promise that. This is funny because they only have 6,500 people on Instagram, and on Twitter they have 17K. How exactly are they going to get guarantee 600,000?
Yeah, who knows? I mean, they're making some wild claims on here too, in some of the stuff that they're communicating out to some of the different games journalists and developers, making a claim that 1 in 5 of all video gamers identifies in some some area of the LGBTQ, whatever, alphabet mafia, I believe. Jimmy Nature over on on Rumble said earlier. 1 in 5 says that they're claiming. So 20% of the gaming world out there is
But you know
queer
what the
in some
interesting
way.
twist? You know what the interesting twist in this story is? Is that when I was at Comic Con, I suddenly got an alert that there's an event from Gaming Magazine, this gaming magazine, and it'll explain why it's important that there's LG representation in video games. And I actually went to that panel. And first of all, I want to tell you, I don't know if there's 1 out of 5. That place wasn't full at all. I felt like there were not a lot of people in that room. And it didn't surprise me that there weren't a lot of people in that room, because uh, I think that there's less people that's of interest to them than what we're being told. I think that, uh, and also when I sat there, and did I tell you that I was at this panel?
Yeah, a little bit.
You know, what I thought to myself when I sat there is that they're so kind of in their own little bubble and delusional in a way, in a sense that it's so important to them, all this kind of representation, but they seem to really not even stop for a second to think about the fact that there's such a small group within a much bigger group that's not even interested in seeing all of that. Also, there's people that are LG and also don't want to see the kind of agendas that they want to peddle. So there's such a niche of a niche, and the way they talk, they really seem like they're disconnected from reality. So the fact that this was whole like a whole gaming magazine event, and then I read here right after the panel I saw what exactly these people are and what they do, it even adds another kind of dimension, another layer to why this whole thing was just nonsense. And I felt that way when I was watching the panel as well.
Yeah, it's wild. Oh gosh, I was just reading. I saw Grum's post on this, some of what he had to say about it. It's fascinating. So, this promotional email, some of what he has to say here. This mirrors the offers he's seen from some other small outlets. Here's some ones that caught my eye: paid social media boosts for your social media ads with guaranteed impressions of 600,000. You mentioned that number.
Yeah, I mean, how can you
How are
guarantee
they
that? That's
gonna? How do they manage that? How are they gonna get to the 600,000? Paid for articles to be written about your game that will likely not be disclosed as being sponsored, since he looked on their site, couldn't find a single article on there that marked it as being sponsored. If you're paying for an article to be written about your game, you need to be disclosing that, and clearly they're not. And so it says the cost for about 7 to 8 grand in US dollars, or 40% off if you get it during their Pride sale. You get regular advertising, as banner ads on the
Pride sale.
site, social media posts shilling your game, guaranteed impressions, featuring your game on podcasts and streams. I mean, this is wild. You're basically
is.
they're saying, give us money, sponsor our events, pay for stuff, and we're gonna boost your game, and we're gonna write articles about your game. Well, what are those are those articles going to be critical of the game in any way? Are they going to actually like review the game and talk about the good things and the bad things they did and how that? No, of course not. They paid for this, so it's going to be a glowing review of the game, or some glowing review. Oh, how perfect and amazing this game is. This is wow. This is gross.
And it's not surprising. And I may actually, I really want to take time to do a video to explain what I saw in that panel, and I have even a little bit of snippets that I'll be able to show. Certainly didn't walk away from that panel learning about another perspective, or really seeing something. If anything, I would say that panel is a missed opportunity, because if you want to make some kind of argument or case about inclusivity and you really want to sell that to people, that's your place to do it. And if your selling is that it's pretty empty and there's almost nobody at this panel, in the audience, and you're just sitting there and whining about cis white men and things like that, it's just that seems counterproductive to me.
Yeah. And the fact that this is not only just, it's not just gaming journalists, it's also gaming awards and it's just the sponsorship numbers are huge. The or not the numbers, but the amounts are just insanely high. So like, oh yeah, it's supposed to be journalism, but yet we're gonna advocate for you if you pay us. That's ugh, wow. I don't even really know what to say. That seems so messed up.
It is, and
Yeah.
for me, it really adds a layer. If you would have seen that panel that I saw, I think that you would have understood how ridiculous it is. At the end of the panel, one guy got up and he's like, "I'm from Gaming Magazine." I don't know what he was babbling about, but
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
and at the end, he's like, "Well, it's so important that we vote right now." But at least I give him credit, at least that he didn't say who to vote for. But it was pretty obvious who he wanted you to vote for. But he didn't at least he didn't say you got to vote for this person, which it's the minimum respect I can give him. But stopping short of saying that, he made it very, very clear who you need to vote for.
Man.
Just
Yeah.
really weird.
Gaming, not with a Y, just gaming, is in such a wild place right now. Uh, so many of these companies just absolutely shilling for all of this ideology. All of the alphabet mafia stuff. You've got a number of these games that have come out recently have just been huge flops. You've got others that are still on the way, like Dragon Age Veilguard, that sounds like it is going to be an
And they were
absolute
proud of this in that panel that I went. They were
yes,
proud of that game. They love that it's like different body types and all this stuff.
yeah,
Everything that we think is not good, they loved it.
yeah. It's oh, wow. Um, it is going to be fascinating to see what happens with that game, and I think that's probably the last really high profile title that we've seen stuff about that's going to be coming out this year. And it's going to be really fascinating to see how frankly I'm positive this is going to crash and burn. Some early some early previews of it have not been flattering, and uh, let's see, there was a story earlier today. Someone was saying like essentially uh, that this is going to offer basically nothing for long-term fans of this series, and that the game is just a real mess. And people who have been big fans of this series going in are going to be very upset with where they took this game. So they're really, I think, at this point banking on two things. They're banking on the big Dragon Age fans, which I'll be honest, I'm a Dragon Age fan. I really have enjoyed the previous games. They've been really well done. And I'm completely turned off. I have no interest in playing this whatsoever. But maybe there's some big time fans of Dragon Age that are still into. They're ready to play it. They're excited about it. I think that some of those real big fans are going to have a rude awakening when they get into this game. And I think beyond that, the only people they can hope are the the various people who are so excited about having their identities in the game. It's going to change their lives to be able to play a game where then the character creator, they can give themselves top surgery scars. That's going to be the thing that's going to make this game great.
The funny thing is that on that panel, I think that they said something along the lines of that they were playing, was it Dragon Age? That they were playing Dragon Age and they walked up to another player and they wanted to hit on a player, but because like one of them was a woman and she wants to hit on a woman, that would mean that she's an LG person. And she tried this, but she got rejected, I guess, because women aren't supposed to talk to women I don't know what. So she got rejected. So another guy is saying that what he used to do is he used to pretend that he's a woman and then he would hit on men so he would feel good in the game or something like that. And I'm thinking to myself, what do you care about all this crap? Like, how is this what the game is why is this the most important thing about this game to you? I don't know if I'm crazy or not, but do you get what I'm trying to say? Is that is that the whole point of the game? Is that if you want to try to find other LG characters? Like what? I don't know if I don't. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Is that why is that their focus when they're playing?
Oh well, there's a whole collection of these people in society now that the absolute most important thing about anybody is what kind of parts they have in their pants and who they like to put them in. So
So the
if they want to see themselves in the game, then they need to have exactly their particular equipment and their particular fetish and whatever
and the guy
exactly represented in the game. But
the guy that was on the panel, shares a personal story that he pretended he was a woman so that he could go and hit on guys. And I don't know if that was supposed to be a dramatic moment, but I'm just thinking to myself, this is all so stupid. Sounds so dumb to me. And I feel like these people are not focused on what the game is at all. And if they're so obsessed with this other thing, and I don't quite get it. But that's just me.
Yeah, Jonathan Conroy on YouTube says games are going under. Ask Culture Casino. Yeah, I completely 100% agree. I've heard a few of his comments recently, and yeah, I 100% agree. Gaming is in a really bad place right now, and a lot of these studios, again, these we've talked about it on here. These studios take 5-6 years to make a game, sometimes 8, 10, 11 years to make a game. And by the time it's come out, all of this stuff now, all of these different, ideology and stuff that have crept their way in, the activists that have crept their way in, have made these titles and they've spent hundreds of millions of dollars on them, and they hit the market and they are flops. And we have not seen the end of this because these development cycles take a long, long time before they actually have something to show for what they've been making. And so I think we've probably, if some of these games just don't get outright canceled or the studios just collapse before the games can be released, I think we've got at least another year to 2 years worth of stuff that is still to come. I mean, we've already talked about Ubisoft. They've had a dreadful year, and then next year on their release cycle, they're potentially going to have. We'll see. Hopefully, they do manage to get Assassin's Creed Shadows out there. No idea what that's going to take. What form that's going to take when it finally gets released with its Black Samurai, or if they decide to delete him or whatever. But then their Assassin's Creed game after that has already been exposed, has been labeled as the gayest Assassin's Creed ever because it features lesbian witches, everybody's favorite. So
the hottest item of 2024 seems to be
hottest thing going.
Lesbian witches in space or something.
You got space lesbian witches, you got to have Marvel lesbian witches. It's everything out there. So yeah, oh boy, yeah. Did you see Agatha this week? Did you watch that one?
I started watching it and I dozed off. I just can't stand that show, but I understand.
I'll be honest. I'll be 100% honest. As I've said before, when there's good media, I'm gonna praise it. If it's bad, then it's bad. I honestly thought that this episode this week was the best one they've done so far.
Maybe I shouldn't have fallen asleep. I feel bad now.
No, it's all right. I mean, it's hard to say that's high praise given that the others have been astonishingly bad. There was some really dumb stuff in this episode, like them dressing up like famous witches and stuff. Witches from Witches of Oz, and then the kid Billy's dressed up like Maleficent, whatever. But I actually thought they actually told a pretty decent character-centric story about the one that's always seemed kind of flighty and weird, played by Patti LuPone. the older one who does the divination and stuff. And
Yeah, I know who you mean.
honestly, it was a pretty well told, encapsulated show in this one episode. I did not like where they went with the ending. It didn't make sense in my view, but overall, as episodes go here, I thought they told a pretty good story. It ends up that part of the reason that she's sort of she's always kind of checking out. She has these little like spells where she sort of checks out, or she starts yelling something, or screaming when there seems like there's no reason to do it. It plays out that she's actually sort of unstuck in time, and so she's always kind of had these issues where she sort of is popping in and out of different parts of her life at different times. So I thought it was actually really interestingly told, and a pretty interesting exploration of that character in the episode. Again, almost nothing happens in this,
It's boring.
but you do get sort of her story, and I thought it was told pretty well. Yeah, but that's one episode out of all. I think next week is the finale, right? We get the finale on like Halloween next week.
They probably planned it that way.
Yeah. Oh, I'm certain they did. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's probably going to be crappy. Maybe
Yeah.
I'll watch it. I mean, I made it this far, so I may as well just finish
It
watching
may as
it.
well.
I can't explain to you how disinterested I am in this show.
Oh yeah, it's bad.
And I just want to leave you on a comment, and I don't know if I told you this. So while I was waiting online in Comic-Con, there was this lady next to me that was talking about how much she loved this show, and I was explaining to her why it's not a good show, and she was sitting there and she's like, "Oh, it's so important to have representation." I'm just thinking to myself, where do they find these delusional people? I mean, she seemed nice enough, but she seemed so delusional at the same time.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I don't see the appeal in this show. Maybe this episode was better than the other ones, but watching all of them until now, I barely have any patience to watch it. I'm going to do it because I already started, but it's a show for me that's practically unwatchable.
It's bad. Oh man, I was listening to a podcast a few days ago. I don't remember which one it was, but some of the hosts were like, "Oh, Agatha, this is maybe the best show that Marvel has done since Wanda." And I'm like, "What?
So
in
many
the
yeah,
hell
I
are you talking
don't
about?"
don't believe any of that. But I think it's a good time to sort of go through the people that have visited us here today. Do some shout outs. Smilex, thanks for being here. Maraxtra, Eco the Third, Eco 3, Eraser had Vex Electronica, a friend of the channel. Eraser has, I mean, all of these people are friend of the channel, but she's just a personal friend of mine, Vex Electronica. I always like hearing from Muraxtra, Tim Hayes, Eraser had one. Let's see if I forgot anybody. Dude Bro Seth 420, Kivo 1961. Okay, we said Tim Hayes. We must have said the Dead Man. Caleb Levine, Kivo 1961. Dude Bro Seth 420. What's the Tim Hayes? Okay, Tim Hayes, Scribe Light. Oh, hey, I miss Scribe. I like Scribe Light a lot. Jonathan Conroy, I said. Whalem 03. AMS S. Eco 3. Empress NM. Mr. Phobos. Jonathan Conroy. Let's see. Jimmy Newton. Sorry, Jimmy Nature. I apologize. I don't know why I said Newton. It was wishful thinking. No, but Jimmy Nature is also cool. Whalem 03, Empress NM, is the Phobos. Did I miss anybody? Jimmy Nature, I said. You still with me, Professor?
I have
feel
to
like the
unmute again. Yeah, I have to keep muting because
professor's
I
gone.
keep coughing. Sorry. So yeah, and we
Dovahkiin.
got a couple here, just a couple of new people checking in with us. Marla Sharondoff, hey there.
Oh, Marilyn Sharondoff is a friend of the channel.
Yeah,
She's
and
cool.
Six also just popping in.
Nice, I like Six.
And then of course I'll just call out again those of you donating
Dead
to the
Man.
channel with your Rumble rants and your YouTube super chats. Some Lake Guy Li 1990. Thank you again for your support. Dead Man, thank you again for your super chats. So yeah.
Six, how's it going? Six, Jonathan Conroy, Estephobos Whalem 03. I see BN Doug 66. Jonathan Conroy, we said. Claffey. We said a lot of these, if not most of them.
Yeah. I see Wheelam 03.
I hope I said the
see,
Dead Man. The Dead Man is really
Yeah,
great.
yeah,
Just wanted to make sure.
see when I see Wheelam 03, I want to say I Lamb, like Will I Am.
SWD 40. I want to point that out. Like Will I Am.
Yeah,
I see what you mean.
Lamb.
SWD 40. Yeah, Whalem. But no, Whalem is cool, or Whalem 03.
Yeah.
Marla Sharondoff says one of the fakes was Michael Keaton. I'm trying to think.
Yep.
What's she referring to? One of the fakes was Michael Keaton. I'm not 100% sure, but I like Marla Sharondoff, and I'm happy she stopped by. I'm always happy to see her here. She sometimes watches streams, and often she doesn't actually respond, but when she does, then it's a treat.
Oh, and we got a super sticker from Six. Thank you. For
Thank you
99
very much,
cents,
Six.
we got a poop emoji.
And
thank you, Six.
Thank you so much, Six. That's really cool of you. Thank you. And we got something, I don't know what this is, from Jimmy Nature W Stream. I'm hoping that means that it's good, like our stream was a W.
It's a win.
It's a win, right?
Winning.
Jonathan, keep up with the good stuff. In any case, we went over a lot of stuff today, and we enjoyed hanging out with all of you as usual. And I guess, Professor, do you have anything else you wanted to talk about today?
No,
it was a
I think that's
relatively
good.
light day.
Yeah.
When we can, if there isn't too much, to dwell on, I think that we've covered most of the immediate topics of the day.
Yep, I think
or the
that's
most
good.
important ones at any case.
Yeah.
And
well, thanks everybody for showing up. Thanks for being here. We love everybody out there in the chat, hanging out with us.
Thank you to everybody that joined us here today. We wish you all a good night, and we'll be here again on Tuesday. So we'll see you all then.
Yep. Have a great weekend, everyone.
You too. You have a good weekend too. All right. Let's say goodbye.
Yep. Night.
Good night.